Hey everyone, Ken's Wild here with Wild Child Horsemanship, and welcome back to our channel. In today's YouTube video, we are going to be introducing to you guys a new sanctuary horse. So, to those of you who have been following me for an extended period of time, you probably already know this horse. If you haven't, this video is going to be an introduction to you guys on this horse's story so you can learn more about her. So, for those of you that don't know, I have my training clients who have owners that I'm training for other people. I have my rescues and my projects, which are horses that I often got out of a bad situation and I'm trying to rehabilitate, train them up, and find them forever homes. Then I have the sanctuary horses, and the sanctuary horses are basically horses that are either incapable of being rehomed or they are stuck with me forever for one reason or another, right? And so now we have a new horse being added to the sanctuary portion, and we're going to explain her story. And so who is this horse? It's Mouse. So I started working with Mouse about 2.5 years ago, and when Mouse came to me, she had already had a rough go at life. She was a res horse who was horrifically beat on the reservation, and then she was adopted by a rescue, and they were a very shady rescue, and they have since been exposed for also cruel mistreatment of animals. And then this lady adopted her from the rescue, and her husband beat the brakes off of Mouse as well. And in the midst of their divorce is when she reached out to me and was like, hey, would you be willing to take Mouse? Because I don't know what to do with her, and we're going through a divorce, and life's just really rough right now. And I was like, absolutely, I'll take Mouse. I had a spot for a rescue, for a project, I had a spot open, so I was willing to take Mouse. And so I took her in, and this horse had already been abused, and so she was about 2 at the time, and so she wasn't old enough to start under saddle, because I typically don't ride them until somewhere between 3 and 4, but I got her groundwork phenomenal. Okay, like I got her halter broke, picking up all 4 feet, going through obstacles. Like I got Mouse doing some really great things. And so I had gone through my checklist with my rescues and my projects. Vet check, she was good to go. Training, she had the basics down. And so it was time to find her that forever home. And the first home that I found her was a student of mine. And she ended up taking over Mouse and took ownership of her. And I actually continued to work with them to help transition Mouse into this new home and help her learn how to work with Mouse and learn how to work with some of her spookiness. Well, and then eventually life kind of got in the way and she stopped working with Mouse. Mouse started sitting, and then she ended up moving, reached out to me and asked if I wanted Mouse back. And so I'm a person, if I have worked with a horse, if they have been a part of Wild Child at any point in my life, in their life, either one, that I will always take them back, right? If they fall on hard times a year from now or 5 years from now, I will do everything in my power to take them back and see what I can do to help that horse. So I took Mouse back. And Mouse was not the same horse that I had adopted out, because she had gone back to being spooky, skittish, and she had that one foot in the wild again. And so, again, I started from the beginning. Vet check, training, got all of her groundwork, back up to par. And then one of my clients who actually purchased Rebel, another sanctuary horse, purchased Rebel's colt because I rescued Rebel, and then she popped out a baby and we weren't expecting it. She ended up taking ownership of Rebel's colt when he was 6 months old, and now he has started under saddle, and she gave him a great home, and she's just a phenomenal person. And so I was like, yes, you can absolutely adopt Mouse. Well, she adopted Mouse and did great things with Mouse. She never got her to that riding point either, but she continued with the desensitizing, the groundwork, the training, all of that. She did great with her. And I was right when I said that she took phenomenal care of her animals, because then she took her dog to a low-cost spay and neuter clinic, and that ended up in another $30,000 vet bill because they messed up. And so then she reached out to me yet again and was like, hey, I just had to spend $30,000 on my dog, and I can't afford Mouse right now. Can you take her back? And I was like, as I always do, yes, I will take Mouse back. And at this point, I had started wondering if maybe Mouse was going to become a sanctuary horse at some point in time. And, when Mouse came back to me, I was in a relationship with someone that I probably shouldn't have been in one with, but it's okay. We all make mistakes. And, he asked me after hearing Mouse's story, he's all, well, can I try and work with Mouse? He's like, I want to learn to train horses, and, I love watching you start colts and work with Mustangs, and I'd love to learn how to do the same. And I was like, you know what, absolutely, because I had the sanctuaries that I already had. I had my clients, I had my rescues, and then there was Mouse. And he wanted to essentially be able to dedicate all of the time that he could into Mouse and learn how to train horses through her. And I was like, absolutely, let's do it. Well, and to basically explain my ex, he was a wonderful human being when he was sober. When he was drunk, that was a very different story. And something happened that was very traumatic, and he ended up drinking a lot more. And long story short, we ended up breaking up over it. And in the midst of the breakup, he wanted to take Mouse. But the thing is he was going to go be sleeping on somebody's couch. And I had to take a moment and remind myself of that vow that I made years ago. Because several years ago, I made a vow that I would always try and do my best and do what was right by the horse, regardless of what situation they may be in. Like every horse that crossed my path, I made a vow to always try and do right by them. And so I had to think to myself, am I going to fight for Mouse, or am I going to let him take her? And I really had to take a step back and think to myself, like, would it be better for Mouse, right? Remove my emotion from the situation entirely. Would it be better for Mouse to go with an alcoholic who has no place to live, no job? I had also been feeding her for months. To go live with an alcoholic with no home, no job, hadn't been working with her, and had known to be physically violent to people, horses, dogs, etc. Or would it be better for Mouse to stay here with me where she knows me, I'm qualified to work with her, we've done this already, and I'm not an alcoholic, I'm clean and sober, and I plan to stay that way. And so I really had to think to myself what was best for Mouse. And at the end of the day, it was fighting for Mouse. And so I fought like hell to get ownership back over Mouse, just because I have worked with her for so long, for one, and for two, she didn't need to be passed around over and over and over and over and continued or be in another situation where she was going to potentially be abused, because she had already been abused and she didn't need that again. And so I fought to bring Mouse back. And I brought Mouse home. After adopting her out and her coming back to me 3 times, I ended up making the decision that it is probably best if she's a sanctuary horse. The biggest thing is, like, she's not a bad horse. She's got the potential to be a wonderful horse. Like, she really does. She's really smart. She is sweet once she gets to know you. She's a great horse. But she can be skittish, and she needs a consistent training schedule. And because of that, it's been really hard to find her a home, aside from that second home that is willing to work with her and is able to work through some of that spookiness and that skittishness. And so now basically what's going to happen with Mouse is she's going to be added to a training schedule like the rest of the sanctuary horses. All of the sanctuary horses, they don't get as much time as my clients and my rescues and projects, but typically each sanctuary horse gets worked 1 day a week. And so Mouse has been added to that training schedule. We are going to be working with her 1 day a week and continuing to try and, focus on vet checks, keep her health up, and then really start working on training her so that maybe we can get her saddle broke and bring out that potential in her that I know so I know that she's got it. Someone just has to bring it out in her. So I'm going to really be trying to pour the time into bringing that potential out, because Mouse really just needs some stability. She needs a stable home. She needs someone who is mentally stable, which I don't know if I'm fully mentally stable, but whatever. She needs someone who is stable enough, who knows how to work with her, who's qualified to do it. And ultimately, she just needs to realize that, hey, I can trust you and you're not going anywhere. And so now Mouse is a part of the sanctuary horses, so let's give her a super warm welcome. Again, she's kind of already been here before, but we can still welcome her back as one of the forevers, one of the sanctuaries that is just too difficult to rehome. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about like anything within this video, please don't hesitate to reach out or drop something in the comments. I highly recommend you go check out the Wild Child Academy. We have a bunch of video courses on there where you guys can learn about science-based methods from the comfort of your very own home. There's also a community on there where you can also connect with other like-minded individuals on a similar journey as yourself. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, our podcast, all of the things that we have out there, as well as our books. You can go and buy those as well. So stay strong, stay true, stay wild. We'll see y'all next time, and welcome to the sanctuary, Herd Mouse.